Just off you get off the bridge with the little Harry Potter, you'll put someone in there, you can lock it down, you can play up the side of the hill. There are certain areas on this where you understand where people like to go. Easy transitional points, solid roads in very, very rough terrain. It's just easy to do it than it is not. And ultimately you can catch people off guard. This is kind of what I want to see now, because there is lots of room to move, not many teams up there. Hell, we might even see Raise Your Edge reposition and go get loot, because that's quite an early one for them, so they were a little bit later in comparison to other people. Severny, shooting range. If you miss any loot, there's options here to finish up and gear up once you land there.
Raise Your Edge, Elgiganten, Depths, Ents all heading towards the northern side. Looks like that is where they want to stake their claim, but I think Ents have been beaten to the punch here. Squeaky's the one looking. See if he can get towards maybe the... I think he's just looking around. I'd be very surprised if he gets caught out doing this. You've got to be scouting, even if it is early still. You're going to be seeing a lot of teams moving at this time, so yes. It looks like Noki's aware, but Squeaky caught with his pants down a little bit. Maybe trying to scout the, I guess, the smaller compound. It's literally a house with a very large car park down the bottom. So Squeaky lucky to be alive. If Noki had a better gun to maybe fight that with, he'd have been banged to rights there. So a couple of teams being caught on their way, and this should be a bit of a stark reminder that you need to be very prepared when you're scouting out these positions.
I can understand why you'd want to take Squeaky out of that position. For them, it's just another rotational point they can work off the back of, and another scouting point once you do have to get on the move. Still teams at the moment, no one's magnetising to Old Stalber. I can kind of understand why when you do have... It's the same scenario as Zaki, but just to more of an extreme version where when you have water at least surrounded by it on 3/4, it's difficult to get those endings, and it takes a lot of circle and favourable moves to get those points. So I always understand it. By doing so, it will keep more teams focused towards the middle of the pack and maybe even potentially down south. That's where Liquid's banking on it. Same for Tornado Energy, Blaze, Exalt. They're all staying this southern side of Yasnaya. It's well, basically it's a matter of just wait and see, really. It's a quiet one because there's so much landing play. We said this yesterday when we have these scenarios where anyone can just do their own thing, really. No one's died yet. Tiny bit of contact that we've seen. I can actually see Squeaky going at WTSG there. Sion, aka Samtit. He knows exactly where he is. He's got a partner in crime with him. Where exactly that is, I don't know. It's on the... Oh, okay. It's the bottom of those hills where you get that one little yellow shack there. Raise Your Edge. They're in the 2-2-4 stack. Backside of Severny. That'll deny entry points and exit points from Severny should the circle be favourable towards it. Unique, Phantoms, Navi. Ironically, all the CIS boys are Eastern European. They'll be last and late to the circle here.
Now, the fun begins if the circle kind of splits further north or south, I guess, on the river that runs up towards the northwest of Yasnaya. That's always fun. That's where you can see the kind of polarizing game begin. But until that point, plenty of land. You said it.
It's
people
a bit of a
shouldn't.
chill game for now.
You shouldn't be dying at this point. Really, there's no necessity to it. Mistakes can happen for sure, but unforced errors at this level, it's hard for me to find a case in which it's okay to be being picked off when there's so much area still in play. So within this, I'm still looking at Elgiganten taking a lot of fire. It looks like a lot of teams who were on the outskirts opted for more of that northern approach, which is a little bit busier than maybe they'd expect. You can see WTSG, Ents, Adept holding a lot of ground. Elgiganten are quite close by as well. And these are all posturing shots. This is a lot of it. And you might see a knock or two, but I'd be surprised to see a flush. That knock comes in. Try to spot out where that one was. That's Udir, I think he might be in the Harry Potter south of Yasnaya in the field, maybe. Which might, yeah, it makes it quite hard to pick him up. But it looks like it's worth the investment of a player, as you're hoping that no one's going to bang out another M24 shot. But that's the brilliance of those snipers. If you are good enough with them, you can make them look beautiful. And I'd love to see more of it. I completely understand why you don't run them most of the time, but the utility that they can bring mechanically is brilliant. Now, again, we wait for the circle to hit because this is where the game gets fun. We go north, it's that shooting range band just south of the hill. All teams will look towards that. If there's any room towards Ents, maybe, a lot of teams will go there. The kind of ditch towards the east of Severny, all playable. Yasnaya, you've got the field, you've got plenty of areas. It will just shift how the game plays out. Or it goes Stalber and all of us confused. Ooh.
That's actually paid dividends for a lot of these slow, late rotators.
Yeah.
You could see how many teams were banking on it being at more of a northern edge. Someone like REGS or Raise Your Edge, for them, it's not too bad because they're allowed to rotate off the position of the war. If you're UMCA or YMCA, mine says UMCA, so I'm going to go with UMCA for now. Going into Severny, it's a bit of a strong commitment because now you're playing off the back of everyone else being directly in front of you. You're going to be the late rotator, even coming out of it, because it's so far up against the water, you have to wait for those circles to go towards Severny for them to actually be rewarding. Very, very open fields, both for them and Eligiganten. There is potential here. You go for the long
Where did WTSG go here? Because Liquid have got all the houses around this area.
They might hit them.
Yeah, and Liquid are in splits. I think there's a small couple of houses available, but it looks like WTSG are going to have to adjust for them. They head up to the hills. That is pretty free. It's pretty free for now. Exalt are down the hill in the housing. They took the hard area, the harder cover for it. Ents are up by the gas station. And we do see the first real crash coming in. Edge of Yasnaya towards the hospital side, if you want to call it that. And they continue moving on. So it's going to get a little bit tricky in the south here.
I like, once the map comes up, you'll see it, we can talk about it a bit more. Liquid's 2-2 split. I don't want to really necessarily focus on Liquid for any reason, but the 2-2 is good. You hold the L compound and then you hold the mountain compound. It basically stops anyone going towards Volcano. The Volcano gives so much accessibility for rotations, but more importantly, it gives viewership. It gives lay of the land. It stops pressure from other teams. The issue that Liquid are going to have is that 3 teams are going to be vying for, I'm so glad we've touched on it, Blaze, Unique, Exalt. They were all eyeing up these yellows. Those yellows allow access up to Volcano. Ents,
are they in the yellows?
That's all you've got to take, the ditches. The ditches yellows, because beyond that, you usually for them would, or at least most teams, would either run to the main compounds. They'll have seen Exalt in there. If not, the backup plan would to go to the woods. All you've got to do is catch one player in woods and say, right, well, that's on fire as well. Where else can we go? Okay, well, we'll just play scrappy and play with what we've got.
Oof.
Liquid will kind of mess a few people up, even in a 2-2 scenario, because they are denying a large portion of land here. That Volcano usually opens up and gives cadence to Na'Vi. Huge split from them. Senya cannot hold apartment blocks on his own, especially not at the angle it is. It's completely open from the backside as you move down from Pachinki Hill. I can actually see Senya on the maps just shooting from the apartments, trying to warn people that there are there.
It's trying to be big, you know?
It's trying to make it. It's peacocking. It's just spreading your wings and letting people know you're there to try and scare people off. You just saw Ents in the distance on the opposing side to this row. That's the team we was talking about earlier on, who've kind of just gone for the last ditch attempt where the little ditches will lie. Raise Your Edge. We'll have to take a fight, Lauren. I hope we stick with these. It'd be good to go back and hop on board with them because they are about to meet toe-to-toe with the Phantoms.
Yeah, big battle about to go down the west, just south of Roshok. Let's look at Raise Your Edge and Phantoms here. Either way, they're very close by, and Phantoms have the engage. They have a little bit more of the high ground and a little bit more time to play with Lost HD, though, and Gaxi on the front lines. Buster meets him. Blow to the guts for Raise Your Edge. They hold on for now with the trade coming back in, bringing it to a 3v3.
Gaxi has to go on the reload. Recrent on the heel. Linksy at distance 4 times with the SLR. It's good, and it will do well. This grenade would be fantastic. If it even finds one, that's the go symbol. It keeps people back, and it does. Buster's down, recrent damage. Second nade follow up. Will it hit D's? It does.
Oh my gosh.
Buster's in all kinds of deadliness here as the flames just lick him on the back and he's dead. That's a nice response from Raise Your Edge. They've also got Lost HD on the back. Remember, this would have been a huge win for Phantoms after the poor performance yesterday. They needed this to go their way. They've got one player left and he's just running in the distance. The Phantoms, well, the Ghostbusters have turned up in the form of Raise Your Edge and they are dead.
Sounds like a line I'd say, Richard. That's very cheesy.
It took a while to think of. I slowed it down
you took a
bit.
second. I heard the brother like, oh, is he building pace?
We have to go.
He's
no,
thinking of
we're
it.
thinking of something.
I was thinking of Phantom of the Opera. I was like, how's he going to bring that in? That's impressive. New circle, though. We've got a lot of the south fields of Yaz, and we have Yaznaya still in play. This is going to be a good one. This is a cracking game. The south is being lit up, and so are all the teams. Nookie, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Lipton's waiting, and it's a matter of whom claims the kills.
It's a lot of smoke.
That was. That really was. It was like when you're at a club and you walk out to the smoking area. It's terrible. Felt vile. We are looking at everyone trying to find any bit of land.
By.
Northern Lights are in trouble.
Oh.
Actually, Spyro. Right, the dragon there taking them down, and more flames and smoke. Apparently, we really like that camera shot today, don't we?
We do. There's
yeah.
love a good vehicle explosion. Ubika, last man standing for the Phantoms. Out of the frying pan and directly into the fire. Speaking of fire, this vehicle should be ablaze after this one. Pulls up. Please turn him. It would be fantastic to see. Nope, he's going to die.
No, Batulin's isn't going to let that one go past him. Phantoms is eliminated. Ubika was the only player who wasn't actually with the main pack of them on the trade with Raise Your Edge, so he stayed alive a little longer.
There's a bit of difficulty there, though, Lauren. After yesterday's performance, you can't have bottom 15, bottom 14 games.
Yep.
There is very much real-world potential here. That a finishing place like that may have just cost them the competition.
It really could. Oh, Raise Your Edge.
More smoke.
Look,
more
the cameraman,
flames,
you
more
want me to
fire.
go, guys? You want me to get that shot? They love a bit of it. A lot of cars are being exploded. It's exciting. All right. Michael Bay movie. There we go. Raise Your Edge have made it around. They've got a very long swing here. They're way out in the blue. You can see them just coming in towards actually Northern Lights. So this could be another explosion coming in. And it looks like the fields are very much in play. Exalt hold a big bit of ground. Raise Your Edge. Oh, this could be done. This is it. It's over. Northern Lights wanted a bit of that, but it looks like Blaze will claim the kills, so the points are theirs.
I suppose it kind of gives some sort of idea with how many vehicles we've seen explode so far of what the circle's done versus the position. Oh, okay, cameraman, we need Liquid and WTSG. They're actually pulling up on one another. Both teams have just hit the exact same compound by mistake. Ibi, K-Mine, Jeans all out. Mex is the last man here, but we've already got WTSG. They're waiting. They heard the vehicles. They got in first, Lauren.
Yeah, but I actually don't mind Liquid's positioning. They're kind of safe on their backs for now until Na'Vi get in a better position. Then they have to just make do because they have Ents on the other side. Liquid have to make a push soonish or temper, well, WTSG. These nades might be able to do it.
Stairs.
Oh my word, Ibi, doing everything he can. They're trying to bombard this with everything. Every part of their utility is being put to it. Jeems one more coming in. Did get a tag through the window, I think, but it didn't do the damage that they wanted, of course. And now we're looking to see how they can control the situation. This is on the other compound. This is down in the south. The fight going through. Unique is there. Blaze is there. Northern Lights starting to surround as well. They're on the outskirts. They'll be putting down shots pretty darn soon.
Na'Vi lingering in the distance, just coming out of the woods. Ubika or YMCA on the back foot, just to the northern edge of this. Ents is there. We spoke about their position earlier on. It was a bit of a ditch, but they made it work. Vard, how the hell you saw that, I do not know. Hits the tab on Na'Vi just on the opposing side. Exalt, they've centered up. They're in the main Harry Potter in the center of all these fields. They're laughing down south. We got Unity. We got Northern Lights. They're going to go toe-to-toe outside of what we would call the liquid... excuse me, not the liquid compound, which is the offshore compound, just outside of the fields. In the north, it's not too bad here. You have Yaznaya. We've got EYG there, Eligaganton. In the yellows of the fields, Tornado Energy. So your next points of contact, actually, all 5 teams on your screen here. YMCA have to get into Ents. Na'Vi have to get into the back of Liquid and TSG. This could be an absolute chaos once these teams clash heads.
Yeah, once they have to move, you're going to see a pretty rough sign. Unique might pile in towards Na'Vi, which could then peel them away from that Liquid WTSG fight. It's all yet to be seen. Ents are about to get enclosed upon by Yumka, which... I don't know if it's going to work out. They're in a bit of a ditch, and here comes the adjust. It's again in the south. It's Na'Vi, and it's Unique down there. Let's spin over and see this. Who beat them there? It looks like Unique has it. Oh, look at Play With Me. Just a little bit confused, but that gun is deadly to hear, but Senya's up to the fight. One goes in, but the trade comes out. Liquid get one, and the fight begins. K-Mine's there towards Vard. At the moment, it's Liquid win the fight towards WTSG until Iro just evened the score up towards Jeems. He was holding the push out. WTSG have 2 stacks. standing right now. Iroh and Miraku. Iroh going to go for the revive as Ibi and Mexi look for a way to close in. Oh my word, are they going for the pickups on this? This is very brave play.
Just leave it him.
I think Fard might be done here. Yeah, Team Liquid moving in. They've just about heard the steps, and now Ibi's at the front door. Miraku, what can you do? He's going to get one. That's a trade instantly. Liquid hold the compound, but they're not alone anymore either.
It was an aggressive stance, and I did like it. WTSG knew they were boxed in, and they had Liquid knocking at the door, so they went for the frags. They went to go push out and try and make something happen. Liquid, they answered back in full force. They did lose K-Man, so down by one. Jeem should be able to get back on his feet. I can see the res coming through on Mexi now. YMCA, they made it across the road. I'm surprised they got here without being damaged, to be honest with you, but it was a great time. The reason that they got here was under the cover of fire. They let that fight ensure, they got involved, and now they're knocking at the door for Liquid. Ibi has spotted this out, he's watching their way. What Liquid need now is for ENCE to get involved and strike Umka in the back. But, for ENCE, is it worth it? Is there any point in doing it? The fields might be a better option for them because once this is done, it's time to move. Liquid have found YMCA. And I tell you what, this could be dangerous. All these players are setting up in vehicles.
Oh, that underhand. Is it going to buy time? It does. He's going to hit the deck. Where's the nade?
It's on the floor.
He needs it to go.
It's a landmine.
Oh, it's just about got him. There goes El Giganton. The one-man stand coming out from Example, holding them all back. The Southeast is theirs.
I love the low ball. Just cooks it and left it on the floor. Last player turns up, stands on it. Hot potato, bye-bye. Two players from Umka left standing. Ibi has been dealing with these single-handedly. This could be a bit of a missile if it finds Mexi. That's going to be a beautiful one and answers it, which he does. It bombards him in the face. This is go time, though, boys. You have to make use of this. Playing for the points won't be enough.
ENCE are pushing. They're across the road. Diggory's in the back. So is Rustamar. Squeaky's got in the circle. They're out for blood now. Tixu's going to support. And now ENCE want to secure this fight. They want to make sure no one leaves this compound because then it's theirs. Diggory gets down one. Where's the next? Can he find any of the others? Liquid still have players here. They want to clear out this compound. They don't want any of this remaining to hinder their progress.
Just see the nades flying in and hitting the deck. By the way, two players of ENCE have disconnected. This is really very proactive and smart play. Rustamar and Diggory have been sent here to try and clean up and play for some points. Maybe even keep the engagement that will follow a bit more easier on them. Now, they'll back off. They'll say, okay, we're done here. Jeem's definitely heard the steps. You saw him switch POV there, look towards the left, and now he waits. Ibi only one in the circle. One-on-one here for Jimbo and Kojo. And still just back building and get themselves in a better position and a chance to strike. Out of the windows we go. Two players from Liquid, time to disconnect.
Yeah, he's in the circle now. He's adjusted perfectly. Player on the other side of things now has to work his way in. Jeems has done this really nicely. Can bide his time on this a little bit more now. Just wait to see where this guy pushes. Ibi should have seen him. Course been made. Tags there. Finished. Beautiful. Really well done by Liquid. They do make it out with two. It's not ideal. But considering the amount of fights that are happening there, that's the best you can ask for.
I honestly don't really know where they go much further than this. Unless they have a vehicle and just crash into ENCE and hopefully that they get run somebody over while doing it. They're basically just held back at gunpoint. Na'Vi sees them. Exalt will see them. ENCE will see them. Regardless of which way you go, for me, for Liquid, every way is dead.
That's not a DBS.
No, but I wish it'd be taken out of the crate because I hate the gun. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's just throw it 15 times on a DBS.
Feels good.
Feels sniping shotgun, man. Fantastic work. But yeah, it's like, for Liquid, I don't know what the options are here. I like the play from ENCE to be able to get to that point. They've used the vehicles for cover. ADR tanking them away, so you'd expect them not to have any tyres left after Adepts have just completely removed all of their transferability. If you're actually getting a 2-for-1 like that, you'd expect that was off the back of a vehicle explosion, unless you just two-tap two people back-to-back. All you need is one of those vehicles to go up and they're all dead.
Yeah, and there's a few teams in that spot. Tab's caught Ibi down, and transitioning away from this compound is almost impossible for Liquid. I think they know that. That's why they try to capitalize on what was happening there, get that fight one for themselves, ENCE down to one.
Nocky's coming. He fancies this one. If he can get it within nade range, that's a 4 versus 1 waiting. Oh, he's cycling, Lauren. He's ready for this.
This could be big. Nocky, can you do it? Is it ticked right? Is it ready to go? It's pretty close by. That's going to be one. Tixu claim. Doesn't get the second. Diggory Rustamar on the run. Get out of there, boys. Nocky wants it all. He wants all of these points, and he might just get them. Diggory tries to fight back. But not much better luck than Cedric Diggory back in the days of Harry Potter. He is all alone now, and he might just die in that maze of smoke.
Rustenmar's working his way back, but this smoke will dissipate soon. Diggory's going to commit all the utility. Honestly, for me, I kind of want Adepts just to commit to this one, take him down and finish him off, and then
I don't think they can.
Well, they have to do it, and because the only way they can do it is to take Exalt on with a 4-man stack. Because once this is all said and done,
now they can.
Oh, that's
now
a pick and a half. We said these sniper rifles can come into their own when we're late game, but there is a response instantly from Shiv.
Yeah, it's a back and forth already. This is another fight altogether. This is over in the east. That's going to be Northern Lights trying to find their way in. Melman's there, or was there, excuse me. You see the brilliance of both sides of the coin, and now everyone's piling in. There's not much cover. We're in the fields. This is all the outskirts. And how has this happened so quickly? Tornado Energy go down, Ents go down. It's a very quick hit from a lot of these teams, but who's in the strong point? You can't look past Exalt. They're in a great position. Na'Vi control the south quite well. Northern Lights have 4 players up, and the north is far from resolved here.
We just have to take a moment to appreciate that Flammy was on his own all the way up against the circle and just killed all 3 players of Tornado Energy on his own.
I'm pretty sure James had over 15 smokes, quite possibly.
Wait, they got in. Up.
They got in, so I think James actually had like 15 smokes. I think he dropped everything and picked up smokes. There's like 20 bodies there, so I'm pretty sure he collected everyone's smokes and just made a path.
By doing that, you've jumped Tornado Energy alone, and potentially even Ents as well. So they've actually, by doing that and staying alive, credit where credit's due. That's bought them points. It hasn't bought them any frags, but who cares when you're jumping up the leaderboard? Yeah,
they're just holding on for now, and this is going to be huge for that north side because the circle's moved away from them. It's gone south. So Na'Vi now hold a fair amount of control. Sunzi could do something. I almost want to see what he can do with that if he's still alive down the line, because he's their get-out-of-jail-free card. If he needs to land shots on Exalt, for example, they can't freely peek anymore because there's got that knock potential, and I've got to assume they don't have helmets anymore because they've been picked at. Northern Lights can slot in easier on the southern eastern side, but between AD and Exalt, it's going to be very hard. Ibi is just playing for the long game here. If he can outlive anyone, he'll be happy.
Circle unfavourable to teams more on the northern edge. Flammy. There's no E in there, so I'm going to go for Flammy for now. Will be forced to move soon, but after doing what he did to Tornado Energy, he'll be happy and he's done more than enough. If he can get a grenade off into the backline somehow of Exalt. As I say that, there it is. The punishment continues. This man is doing wonderful stuff for his team when we talk about points. All right, he's holding on. He's doing so much damage. That's amazing to be able to get that level of play, picking up frags and placement. Credit where it's due. That's a damn good run.
Ibi made it into top 4 as well for Liquid. So all around, a lot of these individuals doing really big work. Now let's look at what's left. 3 teams. Exalt had the tower and it was a really strong position for a very long time. Shift somehow just made it up. They're just sending it in, and they've actually got a very good position, but they've got a lot of attention. And Northern Lights have all 4 players alive and good control in the east. Na'Vi a little quiet in the southwest with 3. So we actually have a pretty big battle on our hands. And you've got to think, look, in center is where they want to go. But even though Exalt do have that hard bit of cover, everyone's looking at them. They can't get away from it now.
Batulin will be forced to hold point onto Exalt. Stop any approach from the backside. He'll go up against the white and be able to try and get some kind of angle whatsoever. 249 comes out. Not going to be the best of guns at this range. If you want to play for the ammo, fair play, but you don't really want to be swapping a gun around and wasting time. Take the level 3. Give it to your marksman. Let him peek with that helmet. What is this? Tap. That's a really questionable play, my friend. I have no idea what the logic was there to drive outside of the circle and die. Maybe he was going to try and get into cover. Maybe he was going for a really weird off angle, but honestly, I feel like Na'Vi have maybe just thrown this by throwing that one player out there.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. They actually have ditches here.
He should have stuck that.
Yeah, they've got ditches to play with where they can at least get bare minimum seconds. You've got to feel as though the Exalt now have to run inwards. They're going to have to leave that cover, and even if the worst comes to worst, that doesn't happen, Northern Lights get a lot of attention their way. So whichever way you cut it, yeah, Na'Vi should not have done that, in my opinion. Again, I'm not the caliber of player they are, but from what we can see, there might have been a miscall. As now already Exalt are down to 2. They're going to be holding on to what they have, and it's not a great deal, and it looks like it's going to be dwindling in numbers. Monkey gets completely flushed on this as Shiv and Naylor, but the last 2 standing, they might get a revive. I think they can, and I don't see anyone in nade range. So, again, there's a chance here, but it's slim, and it's running out of time as that blue is working forward.
Yeah, we'll leave that one for the desk. Martin and Froz can take a look into that one a bit more and see what the game plan was, or if it was just a complete misplay altogether. Exalt forced to move, not too far. Everyone up against the edge, but certainly within reaching distance of the white. Once you're getting here, it's going to be a little bit explosive for the grenades that are going to be left. They're going to be in nade. Oh, that one bounced. I thought it was a little bit further than what it was. 4 players up. You'd have to say that it's in their favor currently. But the problem is that Exalt have this little, tiny little raised area. All right, that could have put the nail in the coffin. 2 players left. Make that 1 on either side. Na'Vi up with 2. So long as Perfectix keeps an eye on Na'Vi, this should be an NLT win.
It absolutely should be. I don't see a big enough advantage for Na'Vi to work with here. If they had maybe 3 players, they could fight something, but they're just going to get cornered. There's very few workable angles when you only have 2 players against superior numbers. So you can see Beslos trying to find that. That's what he's looking for here. And maybe Kemba's going to find one. A couple of shots come out, a couple of tags, but it's not quite enough. Look at the lineup here. Kemba's angle works towards one of them, but that's not without Batulin's now working up himself. They're looking for every potential angle they can. A couple of smokes here and there, but not many. Heals are looking a little bit lighter than they'd like, and the nades are coming out. They're within nade range pretty soon. You can see it coming through. Kemba down to 10 HP. Going to get off the heal and buy a little more time, but it's gone. Batulin's nade lands. It's just Bestlodge, and that blue is looking a little inviting here as they're all swarming in. I think it's time to bow down and accept your fate as Northern Lights get that win on the board.
I try and find him in the end to scrape another point from the barrel, but it doesn't matter whatsoever. Arms up in the air for Batulin. As an ex-Na'Vi player himself once upon a time ago, be very happy with that one. Win on the board, flag on the back. You can show what it means to some of these players to be up there and getting points on frags and points on wins. This is what you need to be doing as we look onwards to Sunday.
Quite right. We have 2 more games of Erangel to follow this, and we're seeing some unique winners today. It looks like James is almost ready there, so I'm sure we'll be hearing from him nice and soon as these players are ready to go. As I can't wait to hear from another team. Northern Lights, I've been interested to follow their route already. I think out of the teams that are in the final couple until those last couple of scuffles happened, I maybe wouldn't have put them as one of the front runners there, but they certainly delivered when they had to.
For me, James and Ibis shouldn't have been able to make it that far. I'm stunned.
Can someone tell me if I did see it right that they had like 15 smokes? 'Cause I'm pretty sure he did. Anyway, one of you guys at home, I'm sure, caught that because you guys love a couple of smokes, memes, and everything else. You catch anything that's weird and wonderful. Right. Speaking of that, Northern Lights just picking up a pretty blinding win there at the end. Let's hear what they've had to say about it.
A blinding win indeed, Pansy. And we've got to get straight into this one. It was 3 teams left at the end there, right? You had the crate drop on top of you. How much of an advantage did it give you towards the end?
Oh, what did you say?
The crate dropping on top of you guys, giving you an advantage.
No, it's okay. It gives just 3rd helmet, so that's not a big advance. Yeah, the biggest advance that was our communication in this game, and we fight well, all the teams. We had very nice timings, so yeah, that was super nice game for us.
And how does it feel, right? Because obviously you guys weren't playing across yesterday, first playing into here now. You feel a bit more settled in, getting used to the LAN environment. Has it taken much adjustment?
Yeah, I think so. We had a lot of time of watching the games. I had like 4 hours of analyzing all the teams who were playing yesterday. So I think, yeah, we're ready for today.
And so you say about analysing the teams. What were you able to learn from looking back at that and seeing the games yesterday?
The best thing that we learned, the timings of the teams, like when they go through the circles from their starting spots. So, and it is super easy for us to make the rotations when we know which teams are gonna like make some difficulties to us. So yeah, that's all.
Well, it certainly worked out in this game. We've got a few more games to go. After getting this win in here, are you confident to push forward and continue to grab a few more now?
Yeah, of course we're confident in our game. If we were not, what do we do here? So yeah, we have to play aggressive when we need it, and but don't make stupid mistakes as we did second map. I called my teammate to die, and because of it, we just lose our game. Maybe our game, I don't know. So yeah. I hope we're gonna do well next games, and thank you for the support.
I hope you guys do well as well. Thank you very much for that. So these guys are doing their analysis, so let's go to our analysts and see what they thought of all of that.
Well, I think Banks is as beautiful as Aurora Borealis as Northern Lights get themselves the victory here for our first game of Erangel. Joining me to my left-hand side, I have Froz and Avenger. Gentlemen, Northern Lights in the fields, a beautiful scene. Na'Vi not able to get it done towards the end in the 2v4, but Northern Lights able to sweep on.
I actually got a little bit surprised over how good they were playing in this game, making sure that they got that win and how they were moving in. They took the opportunity when Tornado was getting crashed by El Gigante, for example, and moved across there, moving in because Tornado was already busy fighting there. They had an opportunity to just move in.
And the Loot Council here decided to give them an M249, and they didn't even care. They just wanted the third helmet.
They didn't think there was a big advantage or anything. No. What I enjoyed, though, was the rivalry matchup between Unique and Na'Vi, where Na'Vi came out on top. And actually, I would say if we saw Na'Vi come out with 4 guys alive and they didn't kind of send one off to an off angle, we could have seen a really good 4 versus 4 in the end, and maybe Na'Vi could have taken out that on top. Unfortunately, there weren't too many alive, and Northern Lights played extremely well in this game.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights here from this game. Of course, a lot of teams trying to jostle for position around the fields, not necessarily wanting to go in. Of course, Exalt had a decent position in the middle. There was a lot of cars blowing up and a lot of smoke and a lot of fire. Wow, that was a lot.
Well, yeah, we got the feeling like that. A lot of people are trying to send it in because they know this is going to be rough. Okay, we got to take a chance here. We got to take a risk. Are we going to try to get in, or are we just going to try to fight our way in?
Are all of these clips just going to be cars exploding?
In the beginning, it was indeed. This, though, example. Perfect execution.
That nade.
Or the underhand potato, as Sims called it.
Hot potato, bang, bang, whatever he said. Can't remember what he said.
Very well played, very well executed by Example, and then follow up by the rest of the guys. Nice kills from them. Unfortunately, though, Tornado Energy, they made it into a pretty decent position, but Flamey completely annihilated them, removed all of them from the map alone, single-handedly. So well played by him.
Adepts, though, moving out from Yasnaya on the south side of Yasnaya into the fields there, being able to take out Ems at the same time. That was quite surprising to me, seeing them playing that well, because it's super hard coming out from Yas, especially when Exalt is in the sniper tower as well.
Unpredictable in nature, as Entropy got themselves that 5th place whilst that was going on, so good stuff from them to get some points on the board. Let's take a look at the overall points here from this game. Blaze Esports set it alight with the 5 points up towards the top in 9th place for the game. And we have 1 through 8. Northern Lights, 22 points, shining up at the top there with Na'Vi with 10 points. So very top heavy for Northern Lights, actually. And then an even distribution from that point on.
Very even distribution, but at the same time, Adepts is also one of the few teams we've seen so far that has been in the placement points every game today so far. Na'Vi, though, except for first game, they got themselves a 1st place, 3rd place, 2nd place.
They've been playing extremely well. They're already on 7th place after their games only today. What is going to be interesting to me, though, besides this, we see obviously Entropy Gaming having a really good game here, 9 points, or a decent game compared to a rough start so far to the day. What is going to be really interesting is Adepts and Tornado Energy. They're going to be extremely close, and they're playing the last 2 games today. It could potentially be so that Adepts and Tornado Energy, whoever kind of ends on top of each other for the day, they will be the 6th team because they're in a kind of a decent amount of points already. So they're looking really to kind of have the last 2 games rivalry here.
Flamey really was on fire this game. Nicely done there. The laws of thermodynamics, no stranger to him. Great stuff. So overall for us, anything else to kind of take away from that game?
I mean, it's not too unusual that we see teams going out with just 1 point behind the other teams. And as Martin said there, it could be that 1 point difference. You want to know that, okay, maybe it was that knock that got stolen, maybe it was that we denied 1 point from them in game 2, whatever. But that might have a big impact, and that's important to take in mind, like, with only 2 games left now.
Exactly, only 2 more games left for one group in particular. Any Hail Marys that they throw into these next 2 games? Because otherwise, if you do not, you're done.
For me, it's just pedal to the metal right now. They need to be super aggressive. They need to try to steal as many kills. They need to secure as many points as possible. If it's by snaking, if it's by landmining some of the other teams, or whatever they want to try to do. I want to see some of the kind of different strategies. If we get some kind of off circles, I want to see gatekeep.